quick, super fun, and super easy Easter egg project. Today we're going to be making these adorable eggs, and the beautiful part is they are washable since we are making them in the Dishy worsted weight cotton yarn. Cotton is great for holding shape as well as throwing in the wash. Now the fun thing about these eggs is they are double stranded, so they work up really quick, and we're going to be using a size 5.5 I hook, and this will also help it work up quick. I'm using the Dots crochet hook, which is a great hook. You can get a whole set for an amazing price. And these Easter eggs not only are adorable for home decor, but also in the back, we're leaving an opening so we can put little trinkets or candies inside these eggs for all of our Easter egg hunts. And then when the season is over, we can simply flatten them for storage to make that nice and quick. And once again, they are washable, so you can always throw them in the wash. You can make really cute gifts for coworkers if you want, with a little candy surprise inside of them. And so let's go ahead and get started by grabbing our supplies. So you'll need the Dishy yarn, the 5.5 crochet hook, a yarn needle to weave in your ends, and scissors to cut them. And that's it. Let's make some cute Easter eggs. Now, when working this pattern, we are going to be working 2 strands. And what you can do is you can work from both ends of your yarn ball. So you can work from the outside and the inside at once. We're simply going to find that inside strand and then find the outside strand and hold those together. Now this will count as just one strand of yarn. So this is going to be our yarn. We're just double stranding it. When working this Easter egg, we will be working continuously, which means we're not going to join at the end of the rounds. So have a stitch marker ready to mark the first stitch of every round. We are going to start this crochet Easter egg by creating a magic circle or a magic ring, and then we are going to chain 1. And now we're going to work 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring, but I like to use what's called the yarn over method, which makes these single crochet stitches tighter and makes it a little bit less flexible in terms of your fabric, which is great when we want it to hold shape. So we're going to insert our hook and then go the yarn under or hook over, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So we insert, instead of yarning over, we're going to hook over, pull up a loop, and finish that single crochet stitch. It's just by making that simple step, by changing whether we're yarning over or hooking over, that will create a more tight stitch because it crosses the front of this to not look like V's, but to look like X's. So we will do that for 6 stitches. And then once you have your 6 single crochet stitches, we can go ahead and grab that tail end and we can pull that closed. And that is the round 1. So now we're going to work round 2, but since we're working continuously, we will want to grab our stitch marker. We're going to insert into the very first stitch of this round, and I always find my first stitch to be the most difficult to work into after doing a magic ring. So I don't pull this all the way closed until after I've done so. And so now we're going to go hook over the yarn and single crochet into the very first stitch of round 2. Now mark that stitch. So this is the first stitch of round 2. And now we're going to place another single crochet into the very first stitch of this round. And now we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. We're going to be repeating that. We're going to do 2 single crochets into the next, and then single crochet into the next stitch. And I will be working all of these single crochet stitches with the hook over instead of the yarn over. So hook over, 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet into the last. So we've increased this round by 3 stitches. So at the end of round 2, we've increased to 9 stitches and we're ready for round 3. Now we can go ahead and tighten this all the way down, and either after this round or the next round is a good idea to weave it in because we're going to be creating this as one piece. So now I'm going to move my stitch marker and we're going to start round 3. And in round 3, we will do 2 single crochet stitches into the very first stitch. Be sure to mark the first stitch of the round. That way we don't lose track, because I'm telling you, working continuously is hard to keep track of. And then we will single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Now we have the right side of our work facing us, but notice how this is curling in. This is just how it always goes for me. You can simply flip that out, and now it looks more like the bottom of an egg. So we will single crochet 2 into the next, and single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So we're increasing again for round 3. And then 2 single crochet and single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So now we are finished with round 3, and I'm going to take a moment to grab my yarn needle and weave in my tail end now. I just think it will make my life easier than waiting till the very end, when it's much harder because we're making an almost an enclosed egg. Now we're ready for round 4. I weaved in the end of our beginning tail end, and I'm going to move my stitch marker, and for round 4 we are going to work 2 single crochet stitches into the very first stitch. Place that stitch marker back to the first stitch of the round, and now we're going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and that will be our repeat around. That is to do 2 single crochets into the next and single crochet into the next 3 and repeat around. At the end of round 4 we will have increased to 15 stitches. And now we are on round 5. I'm going to move my stitch marker, and we will be doing 2 single crochet stitches into the very first stitch of this round, and then placing our stitch marker back to that first stitch. And now for round 5, we are going to be increasing from 15 to 20 stitches. So we're mixing it up a little bit here. And so for round 5, we will do 2 single crochets into the first, and then single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And that will be our repeat around. So that's to do 2 single crochet stitches into the next, and then single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And this will increase to 20 stitches at the end of round 5. And now we are ready for round 6, and we are going to move our stitch marker and single crochet into each stitch around. So place that stitch marker back at the first stitch of the round and simply single crochet into each stitch around. And now, believe it or not, we are halfway through the rounds to finishing this egg. There are only 12 total rounds. So we are going to move our stitch marker, and we have a couple more skills to go through. For round 7, we will be doing a foundation single crochet for 5 stitches. So the first 5 stitches of this round will be foundation stitches. If you want to, you can chain these and work the single crochet into the chains on the next round, and you'll just have more of an opening on the back. Like the opening and closing won't touch. It'll look more open. So if you don't want a foundation, that is fine. But this is how we are going to foundation single crochet 5 stitches. When we do foundation single crochets, we will start by working into the base of the previous stitch. But since we don't have a previous foundation, we're going to work into the same as the last. So we're going to insert into the last stitch that we worked, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first loop on the hook, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. And that is our very first foundation single crochet of the round, first stitch of the round as well. So we're going to mark it. Now for the second foundation stitch, we're going to go back through the base of the previous foundation stitch, and that's the strands underneath here. These are they kind of look like a V, almost like these V's. We're creating them on the opposite side as the base. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 1, and then yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. Now that finishes the second stitch of these foundations. So let's do that again. I'm going to go back to the base of the previous stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 1, and then yarn over and pull through 2. That's our third foundation. So we need to do 5 total foundation stitches to create this opening of the egg. Now, if you don't want an opening, you can just simply single crochet around for each stitch just to create an Easter egg, and you can even stuff it so that it stays solid if you want something that doesn't have an opening in the back. And now we're going to skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches and single crochet into the remaining stitches of this round. So you can see we've created that opening for stuffing the egg if we want to have it be reusable for Easter egg hunts to put candy or trinkets inside. And now we're just simply going to single crochet for the remaining stitches for round 7. Now for rounds 8, 9, and 10, we are simply single crocheting into each stitch around, including single crocheting right across the top of these foundation stitches, which is why the foundation single crochet is so great, is because we can keep working continuously but create spaces and openings. So for 8, 9, and 10, being sure to mark the first stitch of your round, we will simply be single crocheting into each stitch around. And now we're ready for round 11 and 12, which we will be doing some decreasing. And I want to show you how to do what's called an invisible decrease. I love this type of decrease for projects like this. So for the very first stitches of round 11, we're going to do a single crochet 2 together to start out. So we're going to join these 2 stitches together. We're going to insert our hook into the front loop only of the first stitch. So when you look at the top V, we're only going through the first part of the stitch. We're going to rotate our hook around and insert it into the front loop only of the second stitch. Then we'll yarn over and pull through those front loops, yarn over and pull through 2 to complete. And that is an invisible single crochet 2 together, and you will want to mark that stitch. And now we will single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And that's our repeat around. So that is to do a single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. So repeat that around for round 11, and at the end of round 11 you will have a total of 15 stitches. And now we're on round 12, and for round 12 we're going to be doing the same thing we just did for round 11. So we're going to single crochet 2 together for the very first stitch of this row, making sure to grab both strands and mark that as the first stitch of the round. And then we will single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. This will bring the stitch count down to 10 stitches at the end of round 12. Now at the end of round 12, we can remove our crochet hook and we can remove our stitch marker. Grab your scissors and we can go ahead and we can fasten off this yarn, leaving a tail end for weaving it in later. Now we're going to grab our yarn needle to finish off this egg. We need to close the top of this. Now, in order to close the top of this, we are going to be looping through the front loops, so just the front loops of the remaining 10 stitches around. So it's going to loop through the front loops and continue to do that all the way around. Once you have looped all the way around, we can go ahead and pull that tail end to close that opening all the way tight. Go around again through those stitches to make sure that it's really secure. And then we're going to go ahead and weave in our ends and fasten off. And we are finished with our Easter egg, believe it or not. Now, once you fasten off the bottom, this is a top-down Easter egg, you can go ahead and shape it a little bit. The nice thing is this is just a thick enough fabric that you can smush it flat. We have an opening to stick your finger into to shape it from the inside if needed, but you can just shape that in the egg shape that you like, and then it's ready to use. These eggs are so cute and so fun to use with this little opening to put treats inside. And once again, they're made with cotton. So even if you wanted to do an outdoor Easter egg hunt, you could hide these and then wash them if they happen to get a little bit dirty. Just throw them in the wash, they'll be just fine. I love cotton yarn because of this reason. And then smush them flat for storage to use them again the next year. You can also use them for home decor. And if you didn't want to have an opening in the back, you can simply single crochet that round, stuff it, and have it for home decor. You could put it on a wreath. This is really a diverse little quick, super quick and fun Easter project. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I cannot wait to see you for our next project.